What I want to talk about in this video is whether or not the family is going to be proceeding with a wrongful death suit. As you know, they are being represented by attorney Ben Crump. We're going to go to his webpage, check out the fact sheet that he has around everything that's happened with this case. Also, check out what he does with wrongful death cases. He's represented George Floyd's family in the past and also Breonna Taylor. So we want to know, what's the direction of this, and will we see this soon? Yeah. I want to start with the page that he has. He has labeled this Attorney Ben Crump Tyre Nichols case fact sheet, so you can understand all of the work that goes into this, that he has been doing on behalf of this family. He's got the information there about Mr. Nichols, 29 years old, Black male, single with one child. You have the date of his death there. And Mr. Crump is also working with Antonio Romanucci on this. You've got the video footage. Of course, you can go to the Vimeo website there, City of Memphis, and see all of those. There's the timeline here, and he also talks about the piece that the New York Times did. Now, here's the information regarding those 5 officers who were initially arrested. They have all since been terminated. You can see the bond there for each of them and when they were hired. Here's all of the charges against all the officers: second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. And if you've been following along, you know that the city of Memphis submitted decertification request so that those officers would no longer be able to work as officers. Now, this is the piece that I thought was somewhat interesting, this piece regarding next steps. Open probate, obtain complete body cam, radio calls, police reports, 911 calls, EMS records, hospital records, internal investigation report, arrest records, witness statements, hire use of force experts. They are ready to do everything that they need to do. As I've been looking at this, let me talk a little bit about this before I jump into these quotes, and then I'm going to actually go to his wrongful death page so that we can see more of what he does in this area, because it looks like he is checking off, he's crossing the boxes, checking the boxes on all of these to make sure that he has everything together. He is an experienced litigator, and so we understand that he should be able to put together a case for the family in terms of making sure that they receive what they should be receiving. One of the things that really stuck out to me were these quotes on the web page. That's what I want to go back to here so that you can see these notable quotes that he has at the bottom here from several different people. The first one is one that he has. That's not what I'm talking about here, but there was this one from Representative Jim Jordan where he actually says at the end, but I don't think there's anything we can do to stop the type of evil we saw in that video. Yes, there is. If you don't think that there's nothing we can do, I question whether or not you should even be serving, not just in Congress, but as the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Another comment that I thought we might want to take a look at is this one from Mike Alcazar, who is a retired NYPD detective, now an adjunct professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. The quote that he had here was, police departments have to take the screening process of candidates to be police officers seriously and not rush to hire officers that might not be qualified. And there's this statement underneath that says, after it was reported that 2 of the 5 Memphis police officers fired and charged with fatally beating Tyre Nichols were hired after the department loosened its hiring requirements, highlighting concerns that police departments should not rush to fill open positions with people who might not be qualified. So it's one of those things that departments all over this country should be going back and taking a look at to make sure that they're not rushing. I understand that there were a lot of situations where people left the jobs that they were in during COVID, after COVID, decided to change careers. But we don't want to just rush out and not take the time that we need to take with this. And there are some other comments too. Again, you can go directly to his webpage to see more about his background, his experience, more about what's on this fact sheet. But next I want to go to what wrongful death is, what this looks like, because I want to distinguish between a civil lawsuit and a criminal lawsuit. The criminal lawsuit is what you're seeing happen now, this process of charging them with manslaughter, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. A civil lawsuit would be something like the outcome of what you did, that is a civil suit, such as wrongful death, which would allow the family to receive proceeds. Now, who are they going to be suing? Well, they could possibly sue the officers individually in their capacity, but in some instances, there may be some protections around that. I'm sure Attorney Crump and Romanucci are looking into this. The other thing, though, is will the city of Memphis be sued? That is most likely who they're going to be looking at, maybe as a substitute for the officers or in addition to the officers. But let's go ahead and go to Mr. Crump's wrongful death page so that we can take a look at it and go and take a look at exactly what he has on that page, so you can be a little bit more familiar with what he's providing in terms of what he does with wrongful death claims. And also the information that he provides is also extremely helpful. So we've got his wrongful death lawyer page here. And like I said, you can definitely just go to his website and pull this up, but I want us to have a chance to review it together. He's got just some general information here that when you lose someone, there may be, I don't want to say an opportunity, but that's kind of what it is, for a legal action known as a wrongful death lawsuit. Well, what is it and what isn't it? And it says it's a civil lawsuit. Remember, I said that before, but here's how it's summed up. If your claim is successful, it will result in financial compensation from the at-fault party. Now, this is why I made that comment earlier about would they likely sue the officers or would they sue the city of Memphis? How does it work? He has information here on what constitutes wrongful death. And you can see here, it says these claims arise from careless, reckless, or wanton acts that have fatal consequences. These can be car accidents or violent assaults, and assaults such as the one that you've seen with the Memphis police officers. Then I'm going to scroll down to this part where it says wrongful death, and it talks about it as a crime. So this is how I'm trying to distinguish this for you so that you understand the difference. The assault, the kidnapping, the manslaughter, those are criminal actions. The wrongful death is a civil action. But let's go down here and see what you actually have to prove, because like I said, he's got all this information right here. These are the people who have a right to file, and usually these are based on your state, the requirements. But let me scroll down here to this section on what you have to prove. So you have to prove a duty of care, breach of duty, causation, and damages. So first of all, you have to show that the other party had a duty of care. So if you're an officer and you're supposed to be protecting someone, you're arresting them, they're in your care. If you remember from the George Floyd case, one of the things that was said was in your custody is in your care. And so there you had these officers there who were placing Mr. Nichols in their custody. They were the ones taking him, removing him from the vehicle. He's now in their care, and we see what happened with that care. The next question was there a breach of that duty? Well, you're looking at the video. You're going to be looking at the video. It's very likely he would look at this video and say there was a breach of that duty of care. Remember also, if you saw one of my other videos about the missing witness or the silent witness, the witness that we haven't heard from yet, that person is going to be crucial into also showing evidence that there was this breach of duty. You then have to show, hey, okay, so did that breach of duty result in injuries that caused the death? You're looking for completing that line to show not only did they do it, but they were the ones that caused it. The beating, that was what caused it. The kicking, that was what caused it. Maybe even the spraying. And so all of those things that I showed you on the other page where he said he's going to be getting all of that evidence and information, 911 calls, EMS reports, all of that information is used to show causation. and then damages, and they'll bring in people to estimate what those damages should be. So that's the information relating to this wrongful death suit. Now, Mr. Crump has handled wrongful death suits before. Like I said before, he represented the family of George Floyd, the family of Breonna Taylor. He knows what he's doing in this area. He's probably already has procedures and documents and knows exactly how to handle this. He's teamed up with a local attorney, and it's very likely they're going to be pursuing a wrongful death claim. We have not heard anything to substantiate that yet. If you have, let me know in the comments. But I hope this gives you some information about what you need to establish a wrongful death claim and how it differs from a criminal complaint. You have a civil claim, which is the wrongful death, and how it differs from a criminal complaint that we see with the manslaughter and the kidnapping and the assault. So go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, and peace.